Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Living Life at Life View. I am your host, Dr. Veronica Garcia, and today I'm joined by a super sweet, awesome member, student of Life University, Miss Leah Robinson. Hi Leah, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm excited for the world to know a little bit about Leah and all the beautiful projects that you've been doing at the university. So let's start at the top-ish, kind of, sort of. You're in the chiropractic program.
Yes.
Tell me what inspired you to become a chiropractor.
So my story is pretty interesting, as it's not even really a story. I was a journalism major, and so I was in a master's program in COVID, and that kind of changed everything. Yeah. So I was living in Miami, and I was just working at Target. It was just kind of something I was doing in the meantime, between time. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of was like at a standstill, and I feel like the Lord kind of led me here. Mm-hmm. I have, my mom knows someone that works with Dr. LaMarche, and so she told him about the program and told us to come up for Life Leadership Weekend. We came up and we fell in love, as everyone does, Life Leadership Weekend. And so it was interesting because it was something I never really knew about before I came here, and this experience has just kind of completely changed everything for me. Mm-hmm. Because it's been something that I've wanted in so many different ways. I wanted to be a doctor whenever I was younger, but I didn't really know how I was going to do that. I couldn't do like broken bones or things like that. Yeah. So I've been able to find a profession where I get to do everything I love, and, you know, health and fitness is something that I'm really interested in as well. So this thing that's been presented to me, like, over time, it's just completely changed. But before I started, I knew nothing about chiropractic.
Wow. Yeah. That's really powerful. And for those that don't know, Life Leadership Weekend is a very life-changing, intense, and just spectacular way of the university holding space for prospective students or people that might be interested in, whether it's in the profession or the university, and ways to bring them in with their family and truly answer the question, is chiropractic for you? Because it's not for everybody, right?
Right.
But if it is for you, then you'll definitely know by the time that you are Friday night of Life Leadership Weekend.
There's like enough about it to be like, okay, I want to come here. Yeah. But I think like my experience throughout school, like, I always talk about Dr. Good. We have a personal development class, Q1, and she says to everyone, she's like, you're not going to be the same person you were coming here as you will be leaving. And it just couldn't be more true. And so everything that I've learned about the profession and the ways that it serves people, the things that we don't learn about when it comes to the medical model and things like that, and the things that we are introduced to in this, it's just completely changed the way that I look at life. So it's through then, like, I knew at Life Leadership Weekend, okay, I can do this. But over time, I'm like, wow, I've completely come to, I feel like, embody everything that a chiropractor, you know, hopes to be. I'm not everything a chiropractor should be, but you know what I mean? It's a certain mindset being a chiropractor, for sure.
You've been stepping into your calling.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been incredible, an incredible feeling.
And you are almost at the end of it, right?
I'm almost at the end.
What quarter are you in?
I'm 12th quarter.
12 quarters, so 6 more months, 2 more quarters.
So I'm double peaking.
Oh, so 3 more
I graduate in March. I take my finals week. Next week is my last set of finals. So
wow.
Everything whenever I moved to Life, I moved into my same house that I've been living in this whole time. And so I'm at the biggest transitional period of just kind of like, I can't believe this is all coming to an end. Yeah. And I now get to go out and be everything that I've been working towards being for years now, even just beyond chiropractic school, you know, undergrad, everything is working up to this moment.
Yeah. So I love that there's this almost like trendy thought process that every birthday, yes, you are becoming this, for me, 30-year-old self, Veronica, right? But I'm also my 29th-year-old and also the 28th. And it's almost like this is that next piece for you. It is that Leah version, Dr. Leah version, but also that undergraduate and that Target worker and that Leah before COVID and that Leah in high school. And it always comes together into this beautiful puzzle that so perfectly fitting.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about like your transition into coming from a master's that you were into this chiropractic program that's quarter system and that is also graduate, but in a different capacity.
Oh my goodness. It rocked me. 100% it rocked me. So I got my undergraduate in English, which I love. I've always been creative. I've loved writing and things like that. So I love that. I love my time in undergrad, and I did love journalism, things like that. But it's completely different ballgame. Like, I wasn't taking science classes and math classes whenever I was in undergrad. And so coming here, I remember when I first heard about boards, and I was like, oh, that's going to trip me up because I don't know how to study or anything. So the first 5 quarters, I would say, were just me kind of getting beaten down, truthfully. The course load was completely different. What I was learning was completely different. I was sitting in a room with people that knew what they were doing. And, all of us were somewhat new to it, but I was completely new to just these even terms and how rigorous the work was. And so I had to kind of figure it out for that 5th year and really just kind of...
5th quarter, yeah.
Yeah, that up until 5th quarter. And I really just kind of got it handed to me. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, now I'm going to do something about it. Because you get to that point where you're like, well, this is what I want to do. And I know you have to get to the end. Boards is scary, but you have to pass them. And so I was like, how am I going to do this? And I just kind of learned from my peers. Luckily, the program, when you first start, there's almost like this nature of comparison that you don't want, but it just happens. But also in the same way, your community is so supportive of you, and they're the reason that you get through. And so I kind of started leaning more into that part, and the comparison was maybe more in my head. And once I started just to learn from the people around me, that was what made the transition so much easier. And so I got great at studying. I loved studying. I loved taking the time to go and read the information. It was just a complete transition of deciding, like, okay, I'm all in. Yeah.
That's such a, I got goosebumps. That's such a pivotal moment. And it's beautiful because a lot of the time, like 5th quarter is one of the hardest quarters you'll encounter, is because a lot of it is kind of building itself and putting it together, right? Like putting it into that first patient, like that first clinical case, and everything that you learned 1st quarter, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Now, okay, let's put it together into this one person, right? So it's a huge pivotal moment, but it sounds like it was more pivotal for you because you trusted in the people around you, and it does set you apart. I really think it does. This is not a program to be done by yourself, but it needs to be done in community. And when it's done in community, a lot of times, like, your satisfaction and your grades go up and your attitude goes up, and you start seeing the glimpses in people and that community that truly, I mean, I've been 6 years after graduation, and I was just talking with one of my best friends to chiropractic school last night up until like 11 p.m., right? And we're in 2 different time zones. I'm like, this is such an important part of our journey as we become these awesome professionals in chiropractic. And Leah, you also got involved into different clubs and organizations on campus. Tell me a little bit about your involvement in those.
Wow. Okay. So the first thing that I did, I was a competitive cheerleader whenever I was, I think over a decade. I did that. So growing up. So the first thing I did, I was like, oh, I want to be involved in the cheer team. And that was it was for 2 seasons. So in the beginning of my time here, I absolutely loved that. And for a long time, I wanted to kind of be a cheer coach, but that was that time around that 1st through 5th quarter. And so once I kind of decided that I was all in, I was like, okay, I think I need to kind of pivot and shift and start focusing more on school. And I think that maybe around the time that I started getting involved in Max Living. So that's a club that I'm heavily involved with. I'm actually on leadership. And that has also just kind of been my community and just elevated me in ways that I never could have imagined. That community has seen things in me when I didn't see it in myself. And so they've really just helped me to become the person that I am today and the professional that I hope to continue growing and excelling to be as time goes on. But over time, I've done a lot of different clubs and things like that, but I think those are my main two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So tell me a little bit of what Max Living is and how can someone be plugged in as a student?
So Max Living is an experience. It's so hard for us to explain because I think on the surface we're like, it's a communications club, and it's not that. It is, like I said, the biggest piece for me has been the community. And so I think it is a business group, definitely. So it's a group that's going to tell you how you can go about your business, how you can be successful, but it's also going to teach you so many important tools that you don't learn at school. So it's going to teach you things like, how are you speaking to your patients? How are you inspiring them? How do you go about telling a patient a care plan whenever they object to certain things, So many of those pivotal things that we don't really learn in school. And you get plugged in by just going. You go to clubs, and it's one of those things where there's events and, like I said, the community piece. And so for me, it started with one seminar, and now here I am years later. I've been to every seminar since. I'm going into MLC, which is Max Living Training, after I graduate. So you kind of just start, and then you pick how much you want to be involved,
That's awesome. I love it. I love it because I had the opportunity of meeting you when you were just in quarter 7, and I've seen this beautiful growth and evolution of Leah into that Dr. Leah. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited to call you colleague in just 4 months or so, more or less. Good luck, Leah. I'm really excited for everything that you're going to continue changing and evolving and impacting lives, and I really cannot wait. Cannot wait to see it.
And I just have to say thank you, because you are one of those people. Like I said, the comparison and the doubts always come, but you in clinic, you were the one that just told me, eyes forward, just keep focused on what you're doing. You gave me confidence, like I said, when I didn't feel it in myself. And so me sitting here right now, it's because of you too.
I'm going to start crying. Great. Thank you,
I'm
love.
so thankful to everyone that has been a part of my journey. So thank you.
Well, on a beautiful note, that was really sentimental.
I'm sorry, I'm a crier.
Do not apologize for tears, ma'am. Come on now. You know better. I'm too comfortable with them. But we'll see you guys on the next episode of Living Life, a Life You. It was a pleasure having you today, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Leah.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Bye.